Making a living as a filmmaker isn't what it used to be. And the way to build a full-time filmmaking career has changed drastically over the years. With industry strikes, inflation, leaner budgets, oversaturation of content, and the overall ups and downs of the industry, I've realized relying on one income stream can be riskier than ever. So how can filmmakers actually make money and have longevity in their careers anymore? This is one of the hardest things to unlock when you're first starting out. But the good news is, I have a proven way to stay in the game. By the way, I'm Monica Medellin. I'm the creator and an executive producer of Surf Girls, which made history as the first women's sports documentary on Prime Video. I've been featured by outlets like the Emmys, Forbes, and Elle magazine, among others. I've developed, created, directed, produced, shot, and edited films and series for companies including Nike, the Olympics, Red Bull, and before that, I worked at the LA Times as a producer. I've unlocked longevity in my career through having a mix of incomes over the past 10+ years. You can have your own unique mix of these, plus more, depending on your strengths and goals. Okay. So let's get into the 5 proven real-life examples of income streams that I've tapped into to build a multi-6-figure filmmaking career. Income stream number 1, creating, selling, producing, and working on TV shows. Since getting my first TV show across the finish line, I've been creating, developing, and pitching other original TV ideas to executives, production companies, studios, celebrities, and streaming platforms. I've mostly worked on my own shows, but I've also had the opportunity to work on other people's shows as a director or a producer. There are a lot of pros to creating and working on the TV side of filmmaking. You potentially get to work on really cool projects. And in my experience, if you do sell a show and negotiate a fee or percentage of the sale, your payout can be 4 to 6 figures all at once. If you actually get to work on your TV show during pre-production, production, and post-production, you can be paid an additional day, weekly, or monthly rate for many, many months after the sale actually happens. But there are also some downsides to be aware of. TV takes a really long time to greenlight. It can take a couple months up to many years. Nobody gets paid until the deal is done. And in the TV world, there are very few factors in your control. There are a lot of cooks in the kitchen and plenty of red tape to navigate before seeing your final project on screen. It also takes many years to work your way up the TV ladder and receive notable credits. Although working in TV can be extremely lucrative, there are a lot of variables that come into play that can make or break your bank account, which is why mixing in the next stream of income can be a financial game changer. Income stream number 2, directing branded and commercial films or series. Before I got into TV, directing and producing branded and commercial films was my bread and butter. Brands and companies are always looking for high-quality storytelling. Traditionally, this looks like ads, commercials, and campaigns. But more recently, branded documentaries and social-first content in this space has provided me consistent work. It's allowed me to break into the space without being a traditional commercial director. I don't include all of my branded work I do in my portfolio because sometimes these jobs just make sense for money. But let me tell you, the money can be good if you land the right opportunities. I've made close to 6 figures on one project before. And the best part, it's typically these productions that are much shorter than the TV timelines. And in the past, I've even received 20 to 50% of my fee to be paid upfront, with way shorter deliverables, sometimes as short as 30 seconds. I've also worked on longer deliverables, up to 10 to 25 minutes, but that's still much shorter than filling a 45-minute to 1-hour slot for TV. There are also unique challenges that come with it too. Branded and commercial films usually have a very quick turnaround time. Clients can be particular about what they're looking for, and at the end of the day, their job is to make sure the final project fits the brand, not the other way around. Feedback loops between large company departments can take forever. The burnout is really real, and it's hard to work in the branded and commercial space full-time. If you want to tap into this income stream, my biggest pro tip is to start small and build your portfolio from there. Post your work to social media often. It's a grind, but it's worth it once you land your first opportunity. Keeping momentum is key. If you create quality work and market your projects correctly, one branded job can easily turn into 2 or 3 or 4. But please don't forget, the first branded job I ever directed was for a local skateboard company, and I was paid in free skateboards. Okay, so this stream of income I just explained is one of the most important streams to build to 6 figures. But if you don't nail this next stream of income first, you will not have a solid enough foundation to grow. Income stream number 3, freelance, contract, or full-time work. Many filmmakers' initial source of income is with single role gigs like freelance directing, producing, writing, shooting, editing, or in full-time roles at companies. Most people start at a production assistant level and then work their way up the ladder. This can be a great way to work on a variety of projects and see how multiple productions operate. I started as a contracted production assistant at the Los Angeles Times, then got promoted to associate producer from there. When I left the company, I was able to put both titles on my resume, which opened the door for more production roles. But sometimes this path can also be non-linear. Like when I took a deliberate step back, accepting a title demotion and pay cut to join a sports league as a coordinator, despite my years of producing and directing films for the LA Times and other production companies. On paper, it looked like a regression, but in reality, it was a strategic recalibration. I knew I had the creative and production chops, but I lacked sports-specific filmmaking experience. Sometimes the right path forward starts with a step to the side. When I finally took the leap to freelancing, I was mostly hired for shooting underwater cinematography. This is how I landed my first job shooting with clients like the Olympics and McDonald's. There are a lot of upsides to this stream of income, and you get to work on a lot of cool projects and see a lot of different examples of production sets. You can build your portfolio and client list. You can develop relationships with well-connected producers and people who actually hire for these types of roles. But it's not always easy. Some jobs are high paying, some are low paying. It can be competitive to land roles because someone will always do it cheaper. And a lot of these gigs are work for hire model contracts, which means you don't actually have too much agency over the projects that you work on. Which brings me to my next stream of income, which actually gives me a lot of the creative control back over my projects. Income stream number 4, providing production company services. Owning and operating a production company allows me to take on larger projects and bring on my own team. Providing full production services means working with larger budgets and deciding how that money is being used. A lot of brands and companies outsource for full-service production companies to produce and deliver projects. If you're an independent director or producer, sometimes you can actually miss out on these opportunities without production capabilities in-house. Once I built my skills as a freelance director and producer, creating a production company opened up my horizons. I ran creative services through my first production company on my first commercial job with Nike LA, and just 1 year later, I used the same model for Vans. There's a lot of upside to this income stream. You can allocate a percentage or fee paid directly to your company, and you can actually control budget and how that money is being spent. And the best part, you can hire who you want. Sometimes companies need to approve this step, but it's a great option. On the flip side, it can be a lot of work. Having a bigger piece of the pie means more risk for you. You need to have your ducks in a row, and there are no cutting corners. You need to have an LLC or an S-Corp, production insurance, paperwork, including contracts, releases, payments to crew, and the ability to actually run a production through your company. So if you're a filmmaker that has experience, but you're not quite ready to run a full-on production, this last income stream can be very helpful. Which brings me to income stream number 5, filmmaking education. I've always loved helping others, and I believe it is my responsibility to uplift people through my successes. I've mentored countless filmmakers over the years, and I've been invited to speak at companies like Google about my filmmaking experience. I've also been paid to guest lecture and teach at leading film schools and journalism programs in the country, including University of Southern California, Chapman University, Loyola Marymount University, San Diego State, San Francisco State, and Brentwood School here in Los Angeles. I've also been able to reach more filmmakers through sharing my expertise through social media, my free newsletter, online courses, workshops, and formal one-on-one mentorship. With more emerging and seasoned filmmakers looking for guidance, teaching can also expand your income. This can look different for everyone. There's no one way to do it, but my only ask is, please do not teach something you haven't done yourself. Offering your own unique, real, actionable value is the only way. Okay, so there you have it. All of the income streams to build a successful and sustainable filmmaking career. In summary, here's how I built my own multi-six-figure filmmaking career. 1. Creating, selling, producing, and working on TV shows. 2. Directing branded and commercial films or series. 3. Freelance, contract, or full-time work. 4. Providing production company services. 5. Filmmaking education. In my experience, the modern filmmaker isn't just an artist. We're entrepreneurs. We're running a filmmaking business. We build multiple income streams to have creative and financial freedom in our careers. We get to say yes to projects that we're passionate about and no to projects that don't align with our vision. I hope these examples resonate with you and inspire you to start thinking about creative ways to earn more income. Let me know in the comments what you want to see from me next, and I appreciate you guys hanging. I'll catch you next time.